Yeah.
I would read it, but I don't have it.
Yeah. Would you like me to? Or?
Please do.
Yes, good afternoon. The Design Review Board No.2 public meeting of February 28th, 2008 is called to order. Please refrain from talking amongst yourselves during the meeting, and please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones and pagers. If you need to talk, please leave the meeting room. Anyone who wishes to speak, including applicants, is asked to completely fill out one of the speaker cards provided at the table by the front door and submit it to staff. You will be called to present a case or speak on any specific item as desired. Anyone who wishes to be renoticed about a project must completely fill out one of the postcards provided at the table by the front door and submit it to staff to receive notice of subsequent meetings. Current Design Review Board agendas are available by calling our Design Review Board hotline at 818-548-3171 or by visiting our website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us. A handout describing the procedures of the meeting, possible board decisions, and Design Review Board reconsideration and appeals is available at the table by the front door. The chairperson may reorder agenda items at his or her discretion. In terms of a roll call, Board Member Malikian.
Here.
Board Member Garagos.
Here.
Board Member Zarifian.
Here.
And it should be noted that Board Member Laura Friedman is absent. The agenda for this meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall at or before 5 p.m. on February the 22nd, 2008. Are there any items for oral communication? None
We
from
don't
staff.
have any cards.
Okay. And then in terms of the Design Review Board agenda, there are two items on today's agenda. That would be item number 1, 1034 Raymond Avenue, and item number 2, 610 through 614 East Chevy Chase Drive.
Okay, I think we're going to take the 610, 614 East Chevy Chase Drive and bring it forward, and because of the architect is not available for the 1034 Raymond, so we're going to do that. Are they here?
No, he's on his way.
On his way. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll just switch the order. Have to. Okay. So then, if the staff is ready, we can go with the.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I guess we have to. It's 2 PDR 2007-021-A. So.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The next case item, actually the first case item before you, is case number 1-PDR-2007-021-A, located at 610, 614 East Chevy Chase Drive. Just some brief, just actually a little quick side note. Some revisions were posted and given to the full board to just give a more in-depth detail of the history of the window change-out. This case was continued on July 12th of last year to provide more additional information. This case was not a return for redesign. I'd like to go over the project proposal at this moment. The applicant is proposing to legalize the installation of windows to 2 existing multifamily units. These are the units right here. There are 2 4-unit buildings side by side that share a common courtyard. Currently, some windows have been replaced with a mixture of slider and single-hung windows. The existing window material range from vinyl to wood and aluminum. Here are some photographs showing change-out. The applicant has indicated that all windows will be removed and replaced with a combination of single-hung and fixed vinyl windows. This consistency will provide the improvement to the overall architectural design. The applicant should specify if the window replacement will be done all at once. If not, provide a schedule to show the installation process. Staff believes that the front windows should be replaced with wood because the building was originally constructed with wood windows. This will assist and help maintaining the building's original architectural style. And a new landscape plan was submitted as a part of the new submittal, and it was a previous condition on July 12th. Another note that no new floor area will be added as a result of this project. So simply going over the comments or the conditions on July 12th, the exact comments are, condition number 1 was to provide window details, which the applicant has done on sheet A1. The second condition was to provide scaled elevations of all scaled drawings for all 4 elevations. That's done here. And the third condition was to provide a proposed landscape plan, which the applicant has hired a professional landscape architect to provide that landscape plan. All requested information has been provided in front of the board. Staff recommendations are as follows. Staff shall review a proposal for a schedule of the window replacement. And the second recommendation, the front street facing windows shall be replaced with wood windows similar to the appearance of the original windows. Staff recommends approval with that following note. That concludes my presentation. If there are any comments or questions, I can take them at the time.
I have a question. There's some windows that do have wall units, the window unit, the AC units, and I'm not sure, I didn't see them, but in the window, pictures, so I'm just wondering, or is it being proposed to, that's something that I don't know if you...
I don't have that information. I did not see
So
some.
I will talk to the architect about it. Okay. You have any questions from From staff?
For No.2.
Staff is not first. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Ben?
Good evening, Board. My name is Ben Sturgill, and my office is located at 314 East Broadway here in Glendale. The window units that Mayor Lackian has indicated will be removed. The units currently under a permit are being installed with heat pumps, which will be provided heat and cooling for each unit. The concept was to replace all the windows with dual glazed windows. The building is quite old and needs maintenance. The concept was to try to do a dual glazed window as close as possible to the existing configuration of the windows, but with modern technology and somewhat cost effectiveness. So we came up with a solution of the vinyl windows having the muttons exposed on the outside and the inside of the units instead of being placed within the glass to give it more dimensional look, which was my understanding the board's last requirement or request, which I thought was very appropriate. So if you have any questions.
We have some questions.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The drawings, the elevations are showing the existing window configurations, right?
That's correct. All we're doing is replacing light window for light window. So if it was a double hung window operable, it's going to go back in with a single hung the same size.
And this is an exact kind of rendition of...
That was just to give you the appearance of the mutton on the outside of the glass.
Okay.
That was the only catalog cut that I could get.
You're not intending to do that kind of, the layout? Is that what you're-
The 9-line? No.
9-line, it's not a 9-line,
No.
if that's your question. Was that your question?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. So you're going to change the windows to have this kind of perimeter...
No, I'm not.
That they're going to replace pretty much the existing mullion configuration of windows?
Yes, as close as possible.
Okay. And the other question is that the landscape plan is just showing what's there now?
No, that's all
Is it
being proposed.
being
It's all brand new,
proposed?
yes.
Okay. My only comment about, and this is kind of a question comment, you are proposing to have wood windows on the street facade, right?
This was a new requirement. My client and I was not aware of this requirement. This is
More
kind
of a
a
staff
surprise.
recommendation.
Staff recommendation.
So
I was wondering if you are kind of aligned in your
Well,
thoughts with that.
We would prefer to be all uniform, and that from a cost perspective, more cost effective. Doing dual glaze on the wood windows in the front
We'll change it.
will change that to the point where we may elect to just repair those windows. As we can and keep it single glazed, which would be a shame because then we lose the energy efficiency that we're trying to achieve.
No, I'm just trying to understand
Yeah.
the proposal. Okay. You have other questions?
Yeah, I just had a couple. Are they going to be a custom window size so that it's actually going to fit in the opening, or are you going to have to sort of fill in for different areas?
They were basically standard size windows.
Are they fairly close to what
Yeah.
the opening is?
Yeah.
On the head detail, are you actually leaving the old
Frame.
window frame there? Okay, so there could be what could be a considerable gap, and we don't know what.
Well,
how much gap?
If there's a gap, then there'll be a piece of molding that goes around. I believe the detail shows a quarter round.
A quarter round, yeah. I'm just wondering if it would be close to 3/4, or if it's going to be an inch and a half or something.
I would say it's probably less than a half inches.
It could be
The
close to
ideal
that.
would be more like a quarter inch on each side.
So you'll be keeping the stucco mold then?
Yes,
Okay, so it adds a nice paintable detail,
exactly.
contrasting color. And then you mentioned that you're doing the condensers. Do you have the locations of those? Is that going to be
They
a
go,
problem?
it's right underneath some of the windows. Along
On the lower
courtyard,
level?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some questions. You mentioned that the windows are going to be replaced with whatever is there existing, so the drawings are drawn according to what's there now, because the photos do not show that. The photos, they're all over the place. They're sliders, they're double hung, so if
Right.
what you're proposing is what we're going to see, or?
Exactly. The original, when the building was originally built, it had all double hung windows.
Okay.
Through the years, yes, the windows were broken. They were replaced with aluminum sliders,
Okay.
some vinyl. So what we're intending to do is take it back as close as possible to the 1940s when the building was originally built.
Okay, so what we're seeing on the elevation is
Is
what
what
is...
will be
okay.
installed.
I have a little bit of a technical question, and I'm not sure if you can answer me this question, and I've kind of studied the detail that you sent, and I try to go on the internet trying to understand this system. From this photo, it seems like it's a nail-on system.
That one is, they do make a block frame.
Okay, so
That
it's
was not
going to...
available to print it out on.
Okay, so it's actually going to get fitted in within the opening, so it's
Correct.
not going to be nailed on.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that solves a lot of my concern, because what I was looking at on the detail and what I was looking at on the photo did not work, and so I was just kind of concerned if you were going actually with a nail-on or you were going to actually retrofit it within the opening itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. The catalog cuts that I provided was more for the muttons to address Ms. Friedman's concerns. I understand that the last time she was here, she had a concern regarding the muttons.
I see. Okay. Do we have any more questions?
No.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any more cards. We'll close the public, and if you want to discuss this amongst ourselves, or if you guys have any...
I just have one comment, I think. Actually, contrary to the staff recommendation, I think probably keeping all windows the same will help the building rather than changing the front windows to wood windows, because I think the kind of windows that you'll get today for wood windows will have much bigger mullion sizes for that kind of glazing.
If you do the dual pane,
Yeah, for that kind of glazing system. So it will have all of a sudden a big abrupt change saying that the rest of the windows are not the real ones. So I would vote for not changing the front facade windows. That's my only comment with that regard.
I think it's great that they're doing it, unifying it. My bias, actually, this will be my first contrary one. I actually do think they should stay wooden windows in the front. I think what's actually very nice about the building is that it hasn't been messed with too much, other than the windows. So I'd sort of like to keep it sort of a period piece on the front a little bit. So I think it actually would be nice if the wood windows stayed in front. So that's
Yeah.
fine. But I think
No,
the
it will
project
just
is great.
be different wood windows, not the same kind of finer
Well, I mean, if they were able to clean up what they had, and it was presentable, I think they could do that. Otherwise, you can get a single pane that would, I mean, Vent View or TM Cobb makes that window still, so you could have the same window. So I would be fully for the project and with the recommendations. And the only caveat is that since they're keeping the frame, I'd be concerned that the window was that much different than the opening. They had to do some fill piece that might look bad. So I don't know if there's a way of adding that in the motion.
I think my concern with what I'm seeing right now is that if they actually remove the windows and keep the frame, the opening is going to get substantially smaller.
Yeah.
The only way that they can get this to be the same size is to literally remove the bone, the structure of the window,
The jam.
to be able to fit it in within the opening. On your detail, architect, on the detail that he's showing, he is showing some new plaster there, so I'm thinking that they are going to be removing the actual frame of and then they're going to have some new plastering around that. So I'm not sure exactly, I wasn't really clear of that part. So what I would suggest is that they should maintain, the window sizes should not get smaller. The opening should not get smaller. I think there's going to be a lot more headache in the future knowing that there's a limitation of the egress and openings that you're going to be required to have from the bedrooms and stuff. So if you can get that, the frame itself is probably, an average about a couple of inches, and then you got the new frame going in, and you got all the system going in. So it's going to be at least 5 or 6 inches smaller from either side. That's my guesstimate. So I don't know if you want to come up. Let me just. It's more of a question for you then.
We researched that, and they do have a block frame that's only an inch thick. The unit that goes inside the existing frame. So you're going to lose just basically 2 inches window space. So instead of a 3-foot wide sash, it'd be a 34-inch sash.
So on the bedroom windows, you're able to get egress with the new,
Exactly.
maintaining the existing
We may have to
jam.
make a little deeper, but we were going to replace that jam, make them match the rest of them.
Now, when you say the 1-inch sash, so you're going to have a 1-inch sash, and then glass starts from this 1 inch?
No, it's got a 1-inch vinyl frame,
Okay.
and the sash goes into the track mechanism.
Okay.
It's only 1 inch thick. So,
What about the rest of the actual frame of the glass that
well,
it's going to
then
come in?
that would be your typical inch around. That wouldn't match, or be very similar to a wood window where you have, that's typically now what's in there, where you have a 2-inch wood sash around.
So as you close the windows, you're going to have the existing 2-inch, let's say, you're going to have another inch sash, and then you're going to have the mutton,
original.
that original mutton, or the new muttons that are going to go around, or the frame of the glass that is going to get attached to the sash. So you're going to have about a 2.5 inches of that. So overall frame itself is going to get to be maybe 6 inches, or between 5 to 6 inches from the. Am I correct, or?
That's
Yeah,
not
maybe.
my understanding. I mean, I think our
I don't know.
details
Am
fairly
I
accurate,
clear?
so-
Maybe I'll need a sketch this. Maybe I'll just.
I think you're adding the new frame.
Um,
The old frame would have it all.
I guess the question can be asked, what's the difference between the existing window mullion and the new one? Is there any dimensional difference between what you're taking out and what you're replacing?
It's slightly smaller because it has a little bit more
So
material.
what would be the problem then?
And you're not adding.
I don't
This is
know.
what I'm trying to understand. So let's say this is the window, and this is where the window is right now, let's say. This is what's there now. So we're going to remove this. This is going to remain, let's say it's in about an inch, right?
Yeah.
So this sash is going to come in here.
Right, that's his new half-inch sash.
That's the new, whatever this is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the window, the glass itself is going to come in something like that, right? So you're gonna have this 2-inch, you got an inch, and then you got
It's only
that.
1 inch, though.
Well, this is 1 inch, that's 2-inch, and then, so
Yeah, but
from
the
what
old,
is
the old
there,
window would have had it also.
This is only 1 inch. This, the stucco mold.
Existing.
Yeah, existing.
okay, so
that
it's 1
stays.
inch, and then
Another,
this is gonna go.
then another
okay.
inch, and then you
Okay.
have your window sash.
So-
So
So you're probably about, whatever we have there, it's gonna get
maybe an
maybe
inch
Yeah, but
smaller
the
on
old
each
window had a
Yeah,
sash.
the old
Yeah.
window has
The old
the
one
same
had a
thing.
sash, so you're not,
has a sash, but then they're gonna remove it.
but I mean, see, what you're,
Yeah,
the delta on the glass area only changes by the half inch.
That's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine, okay, well, okay.
I agree with the point, though, I was worried
I
about.
was
how-
just trying to maintain the same kind of a window,
yeah.
because by the time you put this new mechanism within the existing frame, that you don't want to remove the plaster, obviously, whatever you have there, it has to get smaller.
Are you
So
removing
what
the
I'm-
plaster?
And I've seen those retrofits where you see a whole bunch of material on the side. Which was my point to him. I was worried that he's going to get, that you're not going to be able to find one that fits wide enough, and then you have a filler piece.
Right.
It's the filler piece is what I'm worried about, is that it's the size,
No,
that you're not going to be
windows
as
would
half
be
inch off.
ordered to the size of the window,
Yeah,
to make it, the
Yeah, I mean, I
gap
don't-
as narrow as possible.
yeah. It's the filler piece. That's, I mean, that's, I almost make a motion of that. I mean, add it to the motion about the size of the filler piece, but, because that could be an issue. I mean, it could be a couple inches overall.
Okay, and then if you guys want to make a motion, either way, I have no problem of keeping consistent. And if you guys fight it out, then you guys figure out which way you want to go. I'll go that way. It really doesn't matter to me. I see your point, because then what it's going to do is it's going to say we have a higher quality window in the front, whereas the rest of the building is going to be less of a quality, less of the window, but whereas most of the people are not going to see the back of the building. They're going to drive by and they're going to see the
Yeah.
nice new
Well,
frame.
you see it
At the end of the
in-
day, you're going to paint it.
Right.
So really, unless you stain it and you make it look like a wood window, then
I think my,
defeats the.
no offense to anybody who's constructing it, I'm concerned about the retrofit on the front, that's all. I think the retrofit, if there was an issue with a quarter round, or if it was a little sized under,
So your
all that stuff can disappear on the
your
side.
consideration would be is to keep the windows there and just take the glass out and kind of
Right, or just
replace
change the
glass-
sash, change the sash, yeah.
sash and keep what's there. And
my worry is that the retrofit,
Oh, you
if there's
mean
any
not-
little
not
issue with-
changing the windows at all
yeah,
in
so
front?
change the sash and
Let's
put a
change the
dual
sash,
glaze and
no, do single, do
Do
single.
single.
one. Single.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can do single. Oh, it's a change out, he's not adding footage, so, you're not adding footage.
No, but it will lose its,
We have to provide title money for it.
Well, if you did a calc before and a calc after, you'd have a whole bunch of fudge area to use for the front glass. That's not new, and I'm sure you've used that before.
Obviously, we're not encouraging that.
Yes, of course. The net result will be a more efficient building, I agree. No, I was concerned about the retrofit, and I think if there was any portion of the retrofit that didn't work well, you wouldn't see it on the side, and that you would see it on the front. That was my issue. So. But if you guys want to go ahead, that's
It's
fine.
not a hot enough topic for me to press the gavel, so you guys figure it out.
would you like to take it out? No,
Well, make your motion. What's your motion? You make a motion. I'm not getting any help on my side, so you do your motion.
I think would be motion to approve as proposed. I don't know what the exact terminology should be, but I don't see a problem with having uniform window system throughout, and that's my position, basically, if you like to.
So you're saying that if they do use wood in the front, they should use wood all around? If they use vinyl in the front?
No, I think it should be the same thing. I think if once you mix, then you don't see buildings in two dimensions. You see them in space, and you realize that all of a sudden there's the front. I think the front should be, if you're changing, everything should be dual glazed. And I know if you change a dual glazed wood system, takes a lot bigger mullions nowadays, and that, to me, that difference is not to the benefit of the building per se. That's what I'm saying. if nothing catches your eye to say that this is a different kind, all of a sudden in front, then you don't raise the question in your mind that you have a difference going on there. So that to me is a uniformity is a good thing for the building.
Well, I'll tell you what might make it work. What if we say that the windows on the front have new stucco molding and sill same size, such that my issue is
A
that
better appearance.
exactly, so that there isn't a...
That I can.
And I could go along with that.
Support, yeah.
My issue was that trying to retrofit in the old openings, that it's going to look bad. So if the stucco molding is changed and is new with the sill,
Yeah,
with the size, I could go with that.
I agree with that. I think a better looking front, if it looks fresh, it would be a good thing. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that
I
would
think
work.
that's a better
We
thing.
have a
Would that be
motion and a
an
second.
amendment to your motion to, in this case, approve with conditions?
With
one
conditions.
condition.
Yes.
And I would need a second, actually.
I will
There's-
second it.
It seems like there's a
And then,
Comment.
just so that we're clear on the actual condition, what we're hearing is that you'd like a new frame and sill around the front windows to be constructed.
It's a new stucco molding and sill with the window.
New stucco molding and sill
Size to
with
the
the
new one.
window, rather than try to retrofit within existing opening.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay, with that, do I have a second?
have a second.
One more piece. There was a mention in the staff report regarding timing of the retrofit. Staff put that in there because often with buildings with multiple units, building owners tend to do the window changeouts over time as tenants move out. The result being, and we don't have any information on that, so that's also a question for the applicant. But when that does occur, you may have a 10-year period where the windows are multiple styles and materials like we have now, rather than what's being proposed and put forward to you is consistent vinyl windows that would be new for the entire building. So that's why we put that in the report.
I think it's a good point. It's a good point.
So should we put a time frame on this? I mean,
You
do you
wanna ask the
guys
applicant?
have any ideas for a schedule? I would say within 1 year.
We can condition that
We can condition it 1 year, and if it's not done in 1 year, this DRB expires and they have to come back.
or we could say when the retrofit is done, it's done all at once.
and as one single phase.
Right, in a single phase. And that gives you more flexibility regarding the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's wording that? Somebody word that?
Done it one phase. Okay, this will be roll call. Mr. Zarafian,
Yes.
Mr. Garagos,
Yes.
Mr. Malekian.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
All right, now we're moving back up, or next one, 1034 Raymond. You want a break?
What?
You said you want a break?
No, just complimenting you, waving goodbye. Pleasantries. Make them love design review.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Presented before you is case number 2 PDR 2007-153-A, located at 1034 Raymond Avenue. Just for the record, I would like to mention that on February 27, which is yesterday, staff had prepared a supplemental report and delivered it to the board members, which I will go, it essentially included the analysis of recommendation, and I will go through those later during my presentation.
Okay.
Applicant is proposing to add 2 new attached units to the existing single-family house, which currently is 986 square foot and sits on a 7,719 square foot lot. The applicant is proposing to add 830 units to the front unit, or Unit 2, and 810 units to Unit 3. Or the Unit 2 will be 830 square foot, and 810 square foot will be for Unit 3. The lot is located in a multifamily zone R2250. applicant is also proposing to demolish the existing one-car garage and replace it with a two-car garage for the single-family house that already exists, and there will be two two-car garages for each new unit as well. The FAR allows for 0.85. The applicant is proposing an FAR of 0.49. There is an alleyway in the rear as well, which will be accessed, which will create an access for the garage of Unit 3. This is a first-time submittal for final review, I should mention. There are no specific guidelines in the multifamily zone, and the neighborhood actually consists of a mix of multifamily and single-family homes with no prevailing architectural style. Per the applicant, the architectural style of the existing house is craftsman and is proposed to be maintained throughout the addition. I'll go over some of staff comments. The applicant is proposing to use the same colors and materials. Also, applicant has proposed a common outdoor space of 600 square foot at the northeast corner of the lot, which will have direct access from both new units, and also an access for the single-family house in the front, but it will not be as direct as the new units. The applicant also has mentioned that there are no oak or sycamore or any preserved trees on the site. Staff recommends an approval based on the following. This is the supplemental report that was provided for the board members. Applicant has been able to provide 2 additional units by creating a proposal that fits well within the site by providing additional units to the rear and having one of the garages be accessed from the alley. The neighborhood is comprised of different style of buildings that vary from 1 to 3 stories in height. The 2-story addition in the rear fits well within the surrounding neighborhood. The massing of the proposed project is focused towards the rear of the lot, which reduces the impact on the street level because the proposed project sits at the rear of the site. The appearance from the street will remain largely the same. And lastly, overall, the proposal appears to be well-sited, complement the existing 1-story structure, and fits well within the neighborhood. That concludes my presentation. On the board, we have the elevation drawings, roof plan and site plan, landscape plan, and the 2 floor plans with exhibits of colors of support, pictures, and a perspective. If you have any more questions, staff will be available to answer. Applicant is also in the audience. Questions you have?
You have any questions?
Yeah.
Ron? Colleen?
My name is Ron Mandelian. I'm the applicant and designer of the project. Georg pretty much covered everything. I want to add the one thing that, as he said, the addition happens, the second story happens over 100 feet beyond the property line. And I tried to minimize it visually as much as I could, yet carry on the existing style throughout the addition. So if you have any questions, that's pretty much covers it.
Yeah, on the back unit, you're showing a window on the elevation, and that's a closet. Is that a dummy window? Or is that
no, that bedroom did not get updated. The window will be there. I put it at the last moment because I felt that wall was too empty, so I will relocate that.
The closet will move in?
Yeah, I will keep the window there.
Also, is there a reason why we don't do the clip gable on that front elevation?
The reason I did that is, as I said, I want to minimize the second floor, and by making it into a French gable, we'll bring it up more. And as you see the building from the corner, you will see the clipped gables on the side, which will be a little too much, having it in the front, on the side, and up there.
Yeah,
In my opinion, it would be a little too much.
Yeah, I don't think so. And then there's a patio on this side, but the public area is on the north. Patio's up above.
Those are balconies. Those are private balconies on the second floor.
Are those connected? Is a single balcony?
No, there's a low wall in between. Just the privacy wall in between. At the 42 inches high, yeah.
Oh, so it's right there?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can do, like another window in the blank area on that back wall? Anything else we can
Now,
do?
relocating that closet will really kill that bedroom, honestly. I tried, but it just didn't work. Besides, the alley view is not a very pleasant view from there.
What do you guys?
I don't know, I still think it needs to flip tables. but-
Well, I'm gonna talk about something, like, once we're done. The same issue that we've had in the past in similar projects like this, we'll talk about it, and I'll explain, and I'll let you come back and, kind of give your feedback on that, so after we do the discussion, we have enough time, so I think we can do that. Thank you. The issue...
Public hearing.
Yeah, let's close the public hearing, and then, one of the problems that I've seen in the past, and it keeps on occurring, and it's something that pretty much we have no control over, is the requirement of the common area. Some of these smaller properties that code-wise they're allowed to have the additional units, they are required to have a common area to accommodate, I guess it's 200 per unit.
Mm-hmm.
So about a 600 square foot of common area. At the end of the day, these common areas are pretty much shoved in at a corner, and it pretty much meets the code requirements. But at the end of the day, you get this open area that it's right next to the living room of both units, or even, for this particular case, the existing house needs to come and use this patio area where people are sitting here and trying to use their living room.
How realistic is this?
How realistic is this?
Yeah.
And one of the thoughts that I've had, and I'm not sure if it's possible to do this in our level, and being that it is a requirement by the zoning, I would prefer to have a side yard, landscape side yard, and instead of that combined common area, be able to give a larger patio for each individual space, and this way we solve their outdoor space and not having this common, like, for example, if this whole thing was pushed up, and I'm not sure how that's going to work, or even if some of these spaces are rearranged, that this common area is either on this side or even on this side, but it's blocked off, and these are separated so that each individual unit will have their own private area, I think that will be a lot more functional and be able to be used better. The other problem that I've seen in the past, and I'm not sure how that's going to get resolved, is that some of these combined units in these smaller lots, one of the units usually ends up getting their only access from the alley, whereas majority of people, majority of the guests and everybody, they come in the front of the street, and for example, if they want to come to this unit, they have absolutely no access, absolutely no way of getting to this unit. They have to pretty much park on the street, go down the block, go around where the alley is, go back up the alley and into that unit. So with that, the other issue that I've seen, and it's still here, is that the 3 units will generate trash, will generate, and then that's something Mr. James would always say, where's the trash, where's the recycle area? And I'm going to say the same thing on this one. I think these conditions there, I think it needs to be kind of worked out, and maybe we can kind of assist the applicant with this a little bit more. And I agree. I think the deck area facing the shallower space, some of these, actually, site plan is not drawn properly because you got this garage right on the property line, and literally it's somewhere around here, and I'm not sure if it's butting this point or, you know, you got a garage right there, so this, it's gonna be facing a garage.
And it's a two-story face that's overhanging, too, so it's...
Yeah, so, I'm not sure if it's really something that we can do, or if it's gonna work, and obviously now that I'm saying it, I'm seeing what the issues are, you know. Pushing this whole thing, this garage is gonna have a problem, and I'm not sure, you know, I'm saying it, but I'm not sure how to solve it, but I'm not here, I'm not getting paid to solve these problems, I'm here to find the problems.
Well, the only
So
problem with
I
that...
think that's something that we can, I just wanted to put it on the table, and we can talk about it a little bit. Because personally, I don't think it's a craftsman design, but whatever it is, I like it. It's not a problem. It's consistent, you know, the details. It's more of a ranch style than a craftsman. Craftsman had a lot more handcrafted, more detail-oriented connections between the roof framing with the beam and the post and beam kind of details, and a lot shallower roof lines, you know, exposed rafters and so on and so forth. So
It's a bungalow.
it's more of a bungalow style, which I like the way that you attached the addition, so I think it works fine. I have no problem with how the design came about. But I think it's more of, my issues are, it's more of the site planning and how functional is it for the last unit, even though it fits, but honestly, I don't think, you know, having direct access from the alley and not allowing any, like, guest parking on the alley side, maybe even one guest parking, even if that would have been something, but obviously it's limited in size, so they can't do that, so that's...
It could have been rotated too, where both garages are on the alley, with the common area between the house and the fold.
Right. And
I mean, at that point, then you could have had access to the both units from the driveway.
no, I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the question to ask would be, what's the address of the last unit?
Right.
If you want to ask someone to come by.
And I'm not sure if we do provide the landscape, walkway along the side, are they limited in landscape? Are they supposed to have a certain percentage of landscaping in this?
I think,
it's 25%.
I believe it's 25%, yes.
So they may be limited to the amount of landscaping if we provide the walkway. So that may be another issue.
Yeah, but it requires changing stuff, but, I mean, this could rotate. This is the common space, and you have access to both units from the driveway.
Yeah.
To address the concern raised by Board Member Malikian regarding public or private common versus private open space, that's a challenge usually for quite a few applicants when it comes to smaller scale developments on smaller size lots. The code obviously is specific when it speaks to private open space being a minimum of 40 square feet per
Right.
unit versus common being a minimum of 200 square feet per unit. That item was actually addressed in the East Broadway, mixed-use zoning, and what was proposed then and what was approved was the combination, of essentially 240 square feet per unit, both in common and in private, which allowed for more creative solutions to open space for projects. That's also been
So
shown
is
in
it-
design.
The way it works is if there has been a precedent, then we can
Actually,
follow that? Is that how it is?
No, and I guess just to continue along, that's something that was adopted in the East Broadway mixed-use zoning. It's also been incorporated in the downtown specific plan. However, today's code specifies in multifamily residential zones that the two be separate. And so until that's at this point in time, I mean,
My
that's something we can...
recommendation is get one of those
we can
books out,
definitely-
and, when we recommend this is a nice
Exactly.
project, put this comment in there, so when you guys going back in front of the council, this is one thing that I think we're having.
Exactly, and that's...
I'm sure you're right that that's how it will be used in reality, and we certainly don't go around policing as to whether it's
Right.
used as private or common open
Right.
space.
And that's something that we will take note because it is used in other areas throughout the city, such as the downtown specific plan area. just to note also that common open space does not have to be completely within just one area. It can be,
Combined of different locations.
it can be provided in two
Dispersed,
different areas within the lot.
The front
So you
yard
can
is not
split them up.
considered as a common area, right?
No, the front setback would not be allowed to be used as common open area. You can utilize interior setbacked areas as common open areas, but not the front setback.
We got to get a little bit more power in this thing.
But we'll take note of it for the next time that
It's moving.
for multifamily residential zones, so.
I do, your points are excellent. I wish I'd caught them. I think it needs to be rotated. That's me.
Yeah, if it's possible, actually, if it's possible, then I think what we can create is
It's a square. Just rotate the square.
yeah.
Or actually, if you create a passage that one can come by and
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You take this rectangle here, and just move it here.
The problem is, here's the other problem. If you rotate it in a multi-family, you're gonna have to have an average of 8-foot setback. And correct me if I'm wrong, if this is a common, you need a 5-foot minimum average of 8 foot. So if we rotate this, it's probably gonna go 5 feet, and then the building's gonna sit in, so.
Can common have something over it or not?
I'm sorry,
Do
the
you have a second
common,
floor over a common area, or does that have to be open
you
to the
would be
sky?
able to, yes.
Yeah, so you could have some of it. You'd actually
But
still have it.
again, you would have to make sure that your second floor meets the minimum average, which would be in this, well, the minimum would be 8 feet for a second floor and 11-foot, or 11-foot average for the
Right.
second floor.
But the ground floor is.
The ground floor is
5.25.
5-foot, minimum 8-foot average.
Yeah, so you still
this
could
is
have a
probably-
connection.
Right. No,
the
what
main
I'm
house.
saying is this is not connected, right? So they're gonna look at this as 5-foot minimum, and the 12 feet gives them the average of the 8 foot.
Right.
And on this side, it gives them the average. But if we rotate this, then what's gonna happen is they're gonna need to have a 20 and 20. They're probably gonna have to get some sort of
Yeah.
administrative exception
Okay.
because of the
Yeah.
width of the garage. And then this is gonna be one space, and then the blank space and that, so that will not get that average setback. I'm just kind of going a little bit. So, we've had in the past other projects similar to this, and I can't recall the projects that, maybe.
It's had a number of
How did
two
we?
units, but
Can I just jump in
Sure.
here? Something that I've just been here for a short time, obviously, but something that I've noticed in working with applicants is that this is one of the most significant challenges of designing a multi-unit project on these smaller lots.
Right.
And I think it's for the board to consider and weigh the options, what the level of priority is if you're going to ask the applicant to reconfigure the massing and site plan of their project. Because in our experience, no matter which way you slice it, it's been a challenge as we work together with our applicants. So
Well-
sometimes there's not.
To answer your question, I think personally, I think the site planning, as I know and I've seen, the site planning has many fundamental issues there, other than the common outdoor to me. The access from the street to the last unit, how do people get there, trash and recycle areas, those are all fundamental requirements that they will need. Also, the common area for the front unit, and I'm not sure if it actually accommodates that 600 square feet. I'm not even sure it does that. But, we have that 600 square feet that we need to have. So knowing that, that should have been pretty much picked up before it came to us. That's what I'm trying to say. And right now, we're kind of penalizing the applicant of not seeing these things, and we need to kind of resolve these issues. And I think it is important for for the site planning, because by the time you put the walkway in there to access the back unit, you're going to lose landscaping. By the time you put the trash and recycle area, you're going to lose landscaping. You're going to lose square footage area. You have no access to get to the back. You have no access there. And then the common area is being used pretty much commonly facing the living space, which that's been our issue for 6-7 years that I've been here. That's always been our issue, that the common spaces that are facing a single living room or a combination of different living rooms, there's no way of controlling that, be able to one person use it doesn't become a functional space. Code-wise, it meets the code, but functionally, it doesn't function. So do my colleagues say that's not important, we'll move on? That's fine. But I think there's other functional elements there that we need to make sure that the site plan works. Common area is given. We have no other choice until the zoning changes. But how do we access the back unit? How do we get the trash? And I don't have the knowledge of looking at the landscaping area, but you got some large trees there going against a garage that it's right on the property line. So how's that going to work? Do we need to move that trees back away from the property line so that it doesn't affect the foundation of the adjacent property? I mean, those are the things that we need to make sure and look at. And I don't know if it's really important. We may say, okay, these are the elements. We're okay with it. Let's send it back. Staff will take care of it. We're done with it. If you guys are happy with the design of the building, they can work with the staff, with the applicant, with the site plan.
I think your points are valid points. I think we need to give them kind of direction on it, because I think that the access issue is big. I think I didn't catch it. That's a good point.
I have a question. Can we make recommendations with regard to how the issue of access can be resolved, or we just...
Absolutely. I think there's definitely ways, and I agree. You know, if you cut this, create a walkway back to here, and then they can get
I was
that.
thinking if this portion, it could be aligned so that there could be an access way.
Right.
And then it will help probably the back elevation. And we still need to kind of hear the architect in terms of...
Absolutely.
But I think that the back elevation, if this connects to that volume, becomes it doesn't need to necessarily break. There are enough breaks in it.
Do you,
So why
can you
don't
please?
What I want to say is, if
Back
you mentioned
open again, if you mention your name again.
Ron Mondalian, it was a really big challenge designing this 2 units there. It really was. I was back and forth with Brad Collin. We had at least 4 meetings for this little project. Obviously, I would love to create a bigger open space, and my first option was to face 2 garages towards the alley. That was number 1 thing I would like to know. It didn't work. I don't have enough space to have 2 walls, and 2 garages, 20 feet.
Right.
It's impossible. Regarding the access, that 3rd unit, we required by code to have 25% landscaping, which includes hardscape and softscape.
Right.
So if I can incorporate stepstones along that side yard, which will still keep it legally within 25% landscaping, yet it can be an access and it can be a secured gated door with a opener from the inside. If guests came in, they just push a button and they go to the 3rd unit. That's what I think is possible doing there.
Well, these are issues that I'm bringing that I've seen in the past that, you know.
But I agree with you. I don't like the access of the 3rd unit from the alley, and I think it's a good way to get in there. But I'm right on the border of having those units less than legal allowed. I think it's 800 square foot minimum, and I'm right there. So cutting anything out of it will completely pretty much drop it below.
What Zarifian was saying is that take that, shift it forward, and be able to create a walkway. But the other way is fine. It's up to you.
Which one is the other way? I'm sorry.
Well, all he's saying is that create a stepping, kind of path right along the landscaping.
Northern side?
Yeah, or the southern side, and somehow create a path.
Is that the south?
That's the northern side.
Yeah.
So
It's just the garages on the bottom. What if it just went around the garages on the bottom, rather than losing all the landscape on the north side?
Garages are at the bottom.
Have the path be here.
Oh.
Since this is just garages.
Right.
Just let the path go outward. So you don't lose all the landscape.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, or from that side, you mean, and enter it from there. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I just figure the garages are anyway. So.
The only problem with that is that you still have to go around the house to get to the unit. So you kind of go to
Yeah,
the side
that's,
and come
yeah,
around.
absolutely, that's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, but here, you're facing the entry.
Sure. Yeah, no, it would be nicer, I agree. I just didn't want to lose all the landscape.
I think probably, it seems like this seems like about 3 feet. Is that wide enough for a walkway to exist? And yeah, you can.
I was thinking, you know, if I was in the front unit, I don't know if I'd want, it's already pretty tight.
Right.
Have everybody walking right by the
walk
windows.
by.
Right.
Let it, you know, go around the garage, nobody cares.
I think it'll be nice too. It's like you put the gate, you put another separate door there so people can walk in through the door. You know, they ring the bell, they walk in through the door and they go all the way.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need a gate for the unit 2 and then maybe the unit 3 and they can just walk along that area.
The southern area.
We need a landscape architect.
Also,
What
I
about
wanted.
the trash?
Yeah, I have a trash staging
trash
area
area.
in the alley.
Right by the door of the back unit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so that area is gonna be used, that accommodates all the,
All three, yeah.
so you have access from there. Well, okay, thank you. I'm closed again. We talked, and so I'll hear you guys. Sit down.
You had a very good point.
Actually, yes,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm still a little hooked. I like the details on the house, and I really do think that west elevation should have the Dutch gables on it also.
Yeah, I was just going to mention.
Yeah,
the
just,
same thing. I think actually, if you look at this elevation, you can clearly see that this is the existing house and that's added. But when you look at this perspective view, since you don't see that everything really blends,
yeah.
I would just recommend maybe the first gable to be
At least that, yeah.
followed that, because this would be very hard to do. Otherwise, it's like probably might have
Yeah.
too many of them, you know. But once you do that, then all of a sudden this
Yeah.
connects to that.
I agree.
So that's the same kind
Yeah.
of.
All right.
Do you want to condition it with that southern access, or how do you want to do
Yeah, I think we definitely need to have some sort of an access from the street. So I think a walkway or some sort of a pedestrian path
it? On the south side?
on the south
Yeah,
side
okay.
should be fine. And I'm not sure if it's really going to affect the amount of landscaping. Do you deduct that from the landscaping, or do you not, or I don't know?
Wouldn't you lose the same amount of landscaping if you put it on the
You
side?
lose less by going by the garage, because you're walking down the
Currently, the
driveway.
applicant is proposing
North side
36%
is all the north
landscaping,
side.
and
Oh, 36%.
Currently.
So even if the steps that
they might be able to fit it in there, yes.
might be able to. Or they can even walk down the driveway and then create the walkway right.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, I
right
wouldn't-
by the-
I wouldn't
so
make
you
it
don't need to
separate.
take the whole.
Yeah, and maybe do a contrasting material on the driveway,
Yeah.
make it,
So you might just lose from here to
yeah,
there.
exactly. You could still leave a foot strip, there could still be a foot strip along
Right.
with that.
So about
Yeah.
a 3-foot walkway there along there. So
A walkway or a stepping stone with
a
that?
stepping stone, or
Yeah.
I think it'll be nicer to have a concrete walkway there. It'll be better
think it's more
waterproofing rather than
practical.
landscaping against the building.
Yeah.
So.
I think the thing that I totally agree is that this is so narrow that you'll be walking by their windows all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's a pretty private side of the house, and I just think it,
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But other than that, I think it's a very nice job.
who's doing the motion?
With that, my turn?
Not me. That's your turn.
On case number PDR 2007-021-A, motion to approve with conditions, which are the southern walkway, what else do we have? Southern walkway,
The Dutch gables at the front,
yeah, Dutch gable on the west elevation.
was it just on the front roof or the back as well?
I would like it on the little back one too, but that's me. If anybody will support me.
Maybe we can put it as a
On the
consideration.
east. That one, no, just the yeah,
Yeah, just that one, yeah.
that one. I mean, I think it would be nice on one of those too. I mean, yeah, maybe the top one.
Okay, so that would be gabled, Dutch gabled roof at the front and the back elevations as part of conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, this will be a roll call. Mr. Zarifian?
Yes.
Mr. Geragos?
Yes.
Chairman Malikian?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Did we just draw it on this?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yes? No?
Mark it up.
Question? All right, we don't have any more cards, we're done. So, the only thing is left is the minutes.
Correct. It'd be the minutes from January the 31st, 2008, and only board members Zarifian and Malikian were present, so.
So we're gonna,
Excuse me.
we'll leave that until Ms. Friedman gets back, and then the next one, which all of us were here. If you have any, there's just one, so.
Oh, and actually, board member Malikian, board member Friedman was absent that day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she would not be able to vote anyway,
Yeah,
so it would
that's
just be
true.
up to
Right,
the two of
it's
you to
just three
approve the
of us,
minutes.
right.
So if you'd like, Make a
There's
motion.
not much there, so it's just one project, so.
so.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from the January 31st meeting.
Thank you. And a second.
Actually, it was February 14.
Oh, February 14th.
Oh, actually,
That's what I'm
no, this is January 31st.
think-
No, January 31st,
January 31st is the day that
we
board member
can't, we have to
Friedman.
wait.
You're right.
Well, there-
it was the 14th.
How are we going to do this?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to.
Actually,
This thing is going to be,
it happened during both meetings. It'd be the meeting of the 31st and the 14th, and you'd be able to go ahead, because board member Carnahan and board member James are no longer on the
right?
board.
So it's just
So
being
you'd
me
be up
and...
to the two of you to make a motion to
read it?
approve.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll mention both as, again.
As both, okay, so the meeting minutes of January the 31st, I would assume that board member Zarifian made a motion, board member Malikian, you'd second that?
Second that.
In terms of a roll call, board member Zarifian,
For
for approval of the 31st. You just need to say yes or no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize
That's
what
right,
you
all
asked. Yes.
Yes, and board member Malikian?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes
So
to approve the
I
minutes.
signed before we said yes, but
I think we'll forgive you this time. For the meeting minutes of February the 14th, and again, same situation, board member Friedman was absent. Actually, in this case, board member Garagos was present.
Yes.
So we would be able to have all three of you vote, so.
I make a motion that the signature is okay.
Okay. Motion made by board member Garagos, second by
Anybody?
Oh, second.
by
Yeah.
board member Zarifian. In terms of a roll call, board member Garagos,
Yes.
board member Malikian.
Yes.
Board member Zarifian.
Yes.
The motion passes 3-0.
Yeah.
any more items?
No staff announcements? No?
That's it. Then we're adjourned.
Oh, and I apologize. There was.
Oh,
What?
we're not adjourned.
Spoke too soon.
Hold on.
Spoke too soon. The meeting of March the 13th is canceled. So you
March
could.
13th.
March 13th is canceled. So you will be back in 4 weeks, not in 2.
Sounds good. See you in 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Just for the
Okay.
echo.